right.
Thirsty Thursday
at the Thistle. But wait. We're not at the Thistle.
This doesn't look like Thistle.
Oh,
no, but we have beers that you can get at Thistle.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but no,
Y'all are in my house now.
Yes.
Oh, he's talking.
This is Jacob Childers. Yep.
Jacob invited us to his house, and where is this house?
We're at SpindleTap.
I'm loving the field trip, by the way. I'm loving the field
it's
trip
beautiful.
out here to SpindleTap.
We're actually in the brewery.
Yes.
This is the cold room. These barrels are actually aging beer. Yeah.
Yes. For those that are not in Texas, just real quick, why the name SpindleTap?
So we're actually part of a group of companies that have ties to oil and gas, and Houston, being the original boomtown, like kind of sprung up from the SpindleTap oil well.
Awesome.
Just outside, like in East Texas. Beer on tap, SpindleTap.
Awesome.
They just tied it in with that.
Very clever, I would say.
I like it. Okay, so that's the story of why SpindleTap. Lots of ties with oil and gas here in Houston, and you're striving to be the premier
IPA
brewery.
Well, they became very well known for their hazy IPAs.
Oh, right on.
Yeah,
Okay,
and if you look at their homepage and go to the hazy IPA section, how many IPAs are in that?
Lots and lots of limited release IPAs. We're constantly just changing the hop profiles. So if you are a hop head, you can really zero in on certain things, because we'll highlight different hops for different beers.
Nice, awesome.
Excellent.
We're here to talk about stouts. So we brought some stouts from Thistle that you can get at Thistle Draft Shop on 2920 in Spring, North Houston. But we also have two stouts that are here at SpindleTap.
And a surprise stout, apparently.
And a surprise.
Yeah.
So what should we start with? How should we
right,
begin?
so we're going to start with something that you can find at the Thistle.
Okay.
And it is called Barrel Aged Black Metal from American Solera.
It's like channeling Gene Simmons.
Yeah.
Really.
Am I showing my age by saying that? I don't know. Let me take a look.
Well, I mean,
when I was here last, I made a B-52s reference, so
Okay,
indeed.
Okay. All right.
you're in good company.
American Solera. So is this made in the same way that Sherry is made, the Solera stuff?
Some of the stuff they make is made in Soleras.
Is this?
I don't know. We're going to find out.
All right, let's open it up and give it a taste.
Yeah. This.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Oh, my goodness. Okay,
that is
crazy.
thick. It looks like you could put it in your motor. Actually, it looks like it came out of the motor after it. Yeah. Wow. Notes of chocolate.
Oh, for sure, chocolate.
Lots of chocolate.
You do definitely get the barrel on the nose, but
Yes.
it's not overwhelming. It's not too forward. And
No,
punchy.
it's probably a barrel blend. All right.
Okay, are we going for it?
We are.
All right.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, this is like super, like full bodied. Like this is the fullest of the full bodied right here.
This will coat your mouth completely.
I think I need some Topo Chico between
But I have to tell you, it's really kind of good.
Yeah,
Kinda. Like this could be like sipping stuff for a while.
Oh, this is definitely sipping
I
stuff.
mean, this is nice.
This is rocking on the porch, sipping it slow.
All right, so I get to always ask the question. So stout, this is like super thick. What's the deal? What's up with stout?
Okay, so stout has a very long, very wide range, just like about every other
most family of beers.
Most families of beers.
Okay.
It can go from like a dry stout, like Guinness,
Okay.
which is very low alcohol by volume, ABV, and it's actually fairly light beer because it's like only like 7 calories higher than something like, an American light beer, whose name I will not mention.
Right. This is much thicker. This is a very different experience.
Right. Now, Guinness, I use Guinness in my shepherd pie.
Okay. It was in a stew. I used it in a stew.
And I use Guinness in a stew as well. This, I think, would be a little bit on the sweet side, but let me tell you what I would do with this.
Okay.
If I were to cook with it, and since our focus tonight is on desserts and not on food, I would like to reduce this until it's tacky.
Yes.
And drizzle it over cheesecake or ice cream.
Oh, I can see that for sure.
Just amazing. And then, of course, imbibe the cheesecake or ice cream with this.
Okay, I want you to go back out. You said can be light like the Guinness.
It can be light-bodied like the Guinness. Light-bodied, and Guinness is bitter. It's not bitter from hops. It's really bitter from the roasted barley that goes in there.
Okay, good. All right.
And this, you could tell the apparent bitterness is quite low, even though it's very thick.
For sure.
So it could go the full range to an export stout, to a extra special stout, to a big stout like this. The Russian Imperial Stout was actually developed for the Russian Imperial.
Oh, really?
Right.
Okay.
And
Is that what this is? A Russian Imperial?
This is a Russian Imperial
Oh,
Stout.
I missed that part. Okay.
It's at least imperial.
It is, well, it's at least Imperial.
Okay, so it's of
12%.
that style.
12% is
Nothing to laugh at.
no.
All right, so this is. Do all stouts have kind of a chocolate hint?
All stouts are going to have kind of a chocolate hint because of the grain they use.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, right on.
But some of them are lean more heavily into the chocolate, as
Okay.
we'll find out later.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, you're using chocolate malt, and
Uh-huh.
there's several different ones that actually lend a great chocolate flavor to it.
Okay.
There are a number of stouts out on the market that only use the chocolate malts to give you that chocolate flavor.
Gotcha.
But there are other ones that actually use chocolate to give you that chocolate flavor, to enhance that chocolate flavor.
Okay, so what our black metal you said was 11%,
12%.
12%. All right, it's
So that's
super-
Imperial for sure,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And
Okay.
and it
Cool.
certainly tastes Russian enough for me.
yeah.
This
Okay.
was brewed in collaboration with Jester King, which is one of our Texas neighbors. They're up in Austin,
Oh, right on.
Right.
up
Okay.
in the hill country.
And both of them do wild fermentations.
And what
Yeah.
does wild fermentation mean?
Wild fermentation, you're going to take local bacteria
Okay,
and local flora and fauna,
right.
right? Just like, so if you know about lambics have 40 different flora and fauna
Right.
from the Seine Valley. Well, wherever you are, you're going to have the same amount of flora and fauna just coming in from the plants, the bees, and everything else that's around. And there's going to be different strains of lactobacillus and Brettanomyces and,
Right.
and pediococcus and all this other
If
stuff.
it's intentional and you can get it balanced well, it can be a good thing.
But
if you're trying to produce a clean beer, a traditional style, maybe a simple lager, something like that, those are considered infections. Those
Okay.
are off flavors. That
All right.
means something went wrong. Really, it
Understand.
comes down to intent, I think.
Yes.
intent. Intent
you-
really covers lots of things.
And,
at Beer Street.
and for a while there, and this has happened before, and it's happening again. Some breweries would make a mistake, or they get a cross infection, and then they would suddenly just say, oh, "Okay, let's just throw raspberry into it and call it a lambic."
Okay, gotcha.
Right? So those are somewhat obvious, usually, but you know, I think that more brewers should throw away beer, and you shouldn't have those things unless there was intent behind it.
Gotcha.
This
All
is
right.
clean, though.
This is clean.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
is not
yeah,
a mixed
yeah. I
brew.
know,
This
right?
This is very
took
clean.
us way on this path.
I am. Another thing I find about this is it's very, very low in carbonation, which doesn't hurt me at all.
Right, right.
There was no head when you poured it.
Right.
It was just
Yeah.
straight
But
black.
it is completely enjoyable.
Yes.
Absolutely.
You know.
Yeah.
and again, totally like sipping. Like this, I can
Oh,
just
this is.
hang out and just kinda-
I wouldn't be pounding these. Now, a lot of people think that stouts and a lot of dark beers are, you know, really for the winter. You know,
Right.
in the fall,
Right.
and when it's cold outside.
And when you're wearing Santa hats on
and
your
when
head.
you're wearing
so
Santa
maybe
hats
we're
and
furthering that.
PJs.
Yeah.
But that's not true. I drink stouts year round, right? And imperial stouts year round.
Okay.
All right, because I love the flavor, I love the alcohol, and it's just a great beer. If I'm going to have one beer in a day, I want it to have lots of flavor,
Right.
lots of character, and lots of alcohol.
And it's
Since we're doing stouts tonight, and we always do food, I figured, well, stouts, unless you've got like a gigantic steak or a prime rib roast or something like that, chances are you're going to be sharing it with dessert. All of these treats tonight are gluten-free.
so we've got all kinds of delicious treats in front of us. Which
We do.
one should we have with the barrel aged
Well,
black metal?
Black metal. I'm thinking chocolate cupcake
Okay.
with buttercream frosting.
Ooh,
Now,
this works.
and
for
it works
sure.
really well together. The buttercream just kind of slides right in
I
there.
really didn't know you could drink beer with sweets. Like this is really fun.
Oh, it's like coffee and ice cream, you know. It's
Oh
a
my gosh,
beautiful
y'all
thing.
educated me in all the important things.
All the fun stuff, anyway. That is quite good.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty, at the end of this night, I will go into hypoglycemic shock, I'm sure.
So barrel aged black metal, imperial stout, chocolate cupcakes with buttercream frosting. I'm giving this a thumbs up.
12%,
12%.
definite thumbs up.
Yeah.
Now, just before we leave this completely behind, note how the hop, we're only playing a role of keeping it from being too sweet.
Yeah, no, that's true. There's nothing hoppy about
There's no direct bitterness or anything
Background
like
player
that.
in
Completely
stouts.
background player.
Right, okay.
So,
I hope y'all are enjoying this as much as I am. I really had a blast learning about beers with you. And with
Likewise.
you, it's our second time.
Yeah, absolutely.
This has been so much fun going through all of them, and I'm just loving it.
right, and as
It
this year,
changes the way I buy beer.
We're just getting started.
I know!
as this year comes to a close, I think stouts are very are part of that.
Yeah.
And they could actually be part of the beginning of next year as well, because winter's on full and stouts are still going strong.
All
but
right.
we might change it up a bit.
Okay, all right. Well,
So the next one,
this one's looking kind of sassy.
this one is called Devour.
It looks like a little, like a gremlin in
It's
gladiator clothes.
actually a native Mexican outfit.
Oh, right on. Okay.
Right.
Okay. So, Three Nations. Is that
Three
the name of the
Nations.
brewery? That makes a whole lot of
Three
sense.
Nations Brewery.
Okay.
This is called Horchata Imperial Milk Stout.
And
They're
where's
also
Three
a,
Nations based?
Yeah, they're Carrollton, Texas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, not too far.
Which-
All right. Dallas
Yeah,
area.
kinda.
Three Nations Brewing. And what's again? Horchata?
Horchata
Devour.
Imperial Milk Stout.
Imperial
Yes.
milk. All right,
Now,
let's do it.
horchata is a
It's like a sweet rice milk
Ooh, that's
drink.
perfect.
yeah. So the horchata, if you've ever been in like the type of Mexican restaurants I grew up with,
Uh-huh.
sawdust on the floor,
Okay.
maybe a plank bar. It was
Like
it
a
was
dance
fun.
hall, I think.
Could have
is,
been at night. It might have been
Okay.
a number of
Okay.
things.
All right. Okay.
But the horchata was always sitting on the back counter in this big old pickle-looking jar, right? Where they just like you ask for it, they just like stick a scoop in there and pour it into a cup and hand it to you.
It's
But it has
wonderful.
this wonderful, wonderful flavor,
Okay. So
and
this
you can
is
actually smell it here.
This one in particular, it's not like 100% sticking to the horchata thing because it says it is enhanced with coffee,
okay.
which isn't typical in horchata,
Nope.
but vanilla and cinnamon, which is, and then this is a milk stout, so it does contain lactose.
Right.
Okay.
So added milk sugar.
All right.
gives
Should we give it a
the body
taste?
sweetness.
Absolutely.
All right.
Actually, okay. I'm so glad it's not over the top.
Oh my gosh.
That is
I
really
love this.
That's really nicely done.
It's lighter body than what
Yeah.
I was expecting,
Yeah,
but
it's a
still
lot more
so
mild.
much flavor. Yeah, it's like it's not beating you over the
balanced.
head.
Right.
Yes.
I'm
Super balanced.
I didn't know what to expect, but I'm pleasantly surprised. It is
Wow.
so much lighter in body than the black metal.
Yes.
I mean-
yeah. I would say like the black metal is like full body, full on. This is more like medium.
It's like this is for a stout. It's very medium.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
For an imperial, like that's the goal. You want it really big and bold.
Right.
This isn't quite there. This is. I was looking at the label. It's like 8.3% ABV, but like given from what you see a lot on the market now, if I see a milk stout with these adjuncts, these added flavors like
Right.
vanilla and cinnamon and coffee, I usually expect it to be a lot sweeter, kind of cloying and like forward. But this, they had a lot of
No.
restraint when they were making this.
Yes.
And I respect that.
I can
because
appreciate it
I
as
think
well.
it makes it a lot more enjoyable.
Yeah.
This is quite drinkable. I mean, I'm not going to say it's crushable, but it is way more drinkable than I expected it
Yeah,
to be.
for sure. And you know what I like about it? We were talking about it being so well balanced. It definitely has the influence of cinnamon. It has the influence of vanilla, but it's not overwhelming.
It's not
any of
cinnamon!
It. Yeah, no.
Vanilla!
And I really thought I was like, okay, this is going to be like that tea kind of experience. It is not at
Right.
all. I mean, it's subtle.
I'm liking it.
I'm digging it. I'm digging
Like,
this a
now,
lot.
just to let you know, I haven't had either of these before, and I'm very pleasantly surprised
Nice.
with both right now.
What about you? Have you had this before?
I have not. No.
Yeah,
it's new.
all of us the first
That's
time.
why, like, I was expecting something a little more
Sweet and-
sickly sweet.
Yeah.
Not judging Three Nations. That's just what you run across a lot when it comes to adjunct stouts.
Right.
But this, like I said, I was pleasantly surprised how restrained and balanced it was.
Yeah, no, I think it's delicious.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I'm going to toss in the mix some brownies.
Oh, I love just like wondering. It's like, what's Mufasa gonna do? I'm
Yes.
gonna treats
We're
her.
just like at like his mercy, like his whims, his master plans.
No, right?
I love it.
It usually works out well for me, but you never know. All right, so we're
He hasn't
doing
steered me wrong.
brownies with the
Brownies
Three
with
Nations.
the Three Nations Horchata Imperial Milk Stout.
I'm going in. You don't have to say it twice.
The cinnamon and the vanilla
Wow.
go really well
Are you kidding? Like,
with
this
the brownie.
is crazy.
Yeah.
It makes both of them. Like, it brings out the flavors of both of them.
That is really good.
I'm digging that for sure.
Mm.
Okay, this is going to be a problem because people are going to get to see this right before all the holiday parties start. I mean, they've kind of started, but now this is putting a whole new mix
A whole new
on
spin
my
on what-
Christmas menu, my New
Yes.
Year's menu,
Absolutely. This
because this is some good stuff.
this would
Find a
make
good
an
stout
excellent
with some
float.
ice cream. Yeah, it really
This would.
This would make an excellent float.
Milk
Right.
stouts are good for it.
Brownie actually brings out the coffee more.
Yeah.
It's that like dark chocolate. They probably use like Dutch process.
Yes.
Okay, well, what are y'all making? Are y'all making any big Christmas dinners up ahead?
My Christmas dinner this year is going to be big roasted prime rib.
Okay, did you see our
I've
recipe?
wanted to do that for a really long time.
Okay, we need to talk because that's what I'm thinking of. Like, I really think that'd be
Use the
super
closed
fun.
oven method.
Rib roast.
The best way.
And you let
rib
it just
roast,
sit there
absolutely.
for. Okay, we're gonna talk.
Absolutely. That would go with that very well.
Oh,
as
for
well.
real?
Yeah. I mean, all. I mean, when
all the flavors and
all
the
the flavors.
peppers
When you have
and
that big meat and those wonderful, because it's going to be rare or medium rare.
Yeah.
I mean,
right.
I have to.
Ideally, hopefully.
Ideally, yes. That's why the closed oven method is my favorite, and it's just I'm waiting for that.
So we could have stout with our Christmas dinner. We
You
could
could
have
have
stout
it-
with brownies.
instead of a
we could have the
dishartif-
horchata with the ice cream.
So instead of a dishartif, which is what the aperitif is at the end of the meal,
right.
right? You use stout instead.
Right.
And then that goes with just about any dessert. Can you imagine cheesecake with this?
Okay, this is like really kind of.
Yeah.
having
Now this is all sorts of things here, from Epic Brewing. This is Big Bad Baptist Double Barrel.
Boom.
Yeah. The joke here is Epic Brewing is in Utah.
Of course it is. I'm
Being
gonna-
a Big Bad Baptist,
Utah.
you kind of stand out a bit.
Yeah. Okay. It's darker than the
Not
other, but
as.
more
Not
brown
as.
than black.
Still a few steps removed from.
Oh, absolutely. And look at the color of the head.
That is for sure.
So let's see.
All right. Cheers.
You smell the barrel.
It's a little oaky, yeah.
Yeah, it is oaky. But it's not like you're biting into, a chunk of wood. Like,
No.
I always like to clarify that for people because they're
Right.
like, what do you mean it's oaky? And I'm like,
Yeah.
no. It's the influence.
It's the influence of both.
Lick your dresser
Because you gotta do that all the time.
and then dial that back a little.
Okay.
Yeah. So think about this. When you're aging it in a barrel that's been used to make, whiskey, the inside of the barrel is charred, and that char brings out weeps the sap from the wood, and that sap lends it a very big vanilla flavor,
Okay.
as well as the oak flavor from the wood.
So what's the double barrel part of the?
It's aged in one barrel and then put into another one and aged again.
Okay.
So the two barrels they use, Imperial Stout aged with cacao, and a whiskey aged coffee, and 100% aged in whiskey barrels. So the coffee was aged in barrels and the beer was aged in whiskey barrels.
That's what it was.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
Wow.
Wow, is right.
Yeah.
It's a little thicker. It's got a
definitely-
little more body than the
definitely-
last. Not as much as the black metal, but
Coffee isn't as forward as I expected.
No, not
Yeah.
for
You get
being
more of a chocolate.
right, and once again that is going to be wow. What?
okay, wait,
What?
you can't do that to us. Tell us.
13.9%.
13.9.
Yeah.
Kapow.
That's really surprising.
Yeah, because it's way smooth.
It's too easy to
super
drink.
smooth.
Yeah, this
yeah.
is
This is another dangerous.
this
one.
is danger, Will Robinson.
yeah,
Danger.
yeah, for sure. Because like this, I could sip
Oh,
quickly.
okay, wait.
Wait, hold on. Wait.
So aged green Colombian coffee beans. So
Okay.
they weren't roasted yet.
That's why it's not as
So-
coffee forward.
Okay.
Well, not the coffee you expect.
Right.
Not like the roast notes. So that's actually pretty interesting because I have thought about like what you could do with green coffee, and apparently these guys were thinking about it as well, and
they thought about it first.
they aged some green coffee in barrels, in whiskey barrels,
yeah.
and then used it in their
their
stout.
barrel aged stout.
Right on. And it's,
Which
and
is-
I like it.
That's really
Well, I got to
interesting.
tell you,
I'm
it's
giving it a
genius.
thumbs up.
It's very good.
It is really.
I'm happy about it.
Oh my gosh, I'm loving all this discovery.
On this one, we're gonna go with the Oreo.
All right. Okay, but these are not gluten free.
Those are gluten free.
Gluten free Oreos. Good call.
Oh, that's some chocolatey stuff.
Did all y'all know about this? Am I the only one that missed out on the whole sweets and stout? I'm loving them.
You'll never go back to wine after this.
Oh,
Okay, that is a serious statement. Them are fighting words. I don't know.
I actually like the cookie part of this is like like more crispy than
Yeah.
Oreo. Oreos
Yeah.
are usually a little soft at least.
Yes, Oreos or gluten-free chocolate sandwich cookies with the Big Bad Baptist double barrel.
That is very good. I'm very happy with
Yeah, I could do that. Okay, flavor profile, we decided that it's definitely
Okay.
got a coffee, but not overwhelmingly
It's not
coffee. It's like a
overwhelming
hint.
coffee. It's different coffee.
Right, yeah.
I think it just like kind of adds a little almost earthiness. Like it was a
Right.
depth. It's hard to pick some of this stuff out with stouts because it is so like bold and rich.
Right?
You have lots of layers on top of each other. You know.
And that's another thing. It's difficult to make a stout that is so distinctive. The fact is, this is just really well made,
Yeah.
and you could tell if there was a flaw, it would stand out. This is Matthew, by the way.
What do you do at SpindleTap?
So with the brewery, I bug them.
You bug
I
them? Okay.
distract them
Yes.
from their jobs.
Uh-huh.
About 2 years ago, I partnered with the owners of SpindleTap to create SpindleTap Coffee. I had my own coffee roasting company, followed by a coffee roasting and coffee truck in
Wow.
the Oak Forest area.
Nice.
Did some beer collaborations through that company, and the owners of SpindleTap called me, asked if I wanted to partner with them in creating a coffee company.
Nice.
Notice that we have some sort of beer in our hand already that's not part of the whole program.
What's going on here?
So
This isn't looking completely like coffee.
Yeah.
Austin, what do you think? I
It
don't know.
looks like a stout to me.
this is Black Gold. It's our nitro coffee stout.
Oh my gosh.
However, when we started the process, we were doing about 13 pounds of coffee per barrel, but then we lost about a third to a quarter of the liquid. So I'll let you do the math.
Yeah.
But what ends up in your glass is a very nitro heavy cold brew that's made with Russian Imperial Stout instead of water.
Shazam.
Basically.
All right, I'm going in.
Well,
I'm going in.
that's it.
Yeah.
All right,
Salute,
cheers.
y'all.
Salute.
Cheers.
All right, I didn't get okay.
Wait a minute. Where's the stout?
This could be very dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah, this came about after we actually did something similar when I first got here about 2 years ago. We did it on a much smaller run, and it was much more Russian Imperial forward, the method that we used in order to produce this, which is different from that run. However, it's its own animal. Anyone that I talk to about this beer, like in the tap room, I warn them that if they aren't a coffee fan, it's probably not going to be their thing.
But if
But-
they are a coffee fan,
I have genuinely mistaken this for cold brew coffee before.
Oh, it's
Oh,
easy
yeah,
to do.
yeah,
oh,
for sure, yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Not knowing, like I think the tap had changed, and I thought this is the regular cold brew. And
that wasn't how you started your
So,
day, was it?
so what did the ABV
Every
turn
now
out
and
towards the
then.
end,
Every
yeah.
now and
What
then.
did the ABV turn out to be on this?
An
I think it's
ABV?
still around
Starts at 11.
Alcohol by volume.
Yeah.
Alcohol.
I think it's still
volume?
11
And it's still 11.5% with all that coffee in it?
No, no, for real?
I mean,
Well,
it doesn't-
basically,
it doesn't add any liquid.
Yeah.
the beer actually replaced water.
Right.
So it's still the strength of the beer. If y'all haven't had this, you are missing out.
Okay, so can you only get this at the brewery, or
Yep.
only at the brewery?
Yep.
Only at
Yep.
What's it
SpindleTap.
called again?
Black Gold.
Black Gold. Black Gold. It's SpindleTap only at the brewery. So you got to be in Houston
Yeah.
to get it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, cheers. This is outstanding. Way to go.
You know,
Absolutely.
do what I do.
I know.
Thanks,
you do,
Matt.
you do.
Thank you, Matthew. And
You're welcome, world.
I think about this. A coffee stout that tastes like more coffee than stout should go with donuts. Have a devil's food chocolate donut.
I need to stop. Like, this is delicious. This is really good. Yeah, I'm in. I'm in for sure now.
I've never had a coffee stout with this much coffee flavor. I've had your cold brew coffee. They have it at the Thistle.
Yeah.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, I have it every time so I can get home.
Ah.
You're welcome.
Yes, this is just amazing.
Yeah, it's really
it's-
good.
It could really be a more appropriate breakfast beer.
There are breakfast stouts out there, but this would be my breakfast
Oh
stout.
my gosh, this is really. This is like a good Christmas breakfast, Christmas morning.
Absolutely. Wow.
The Black Gold really brings out kind of the dark chocolate. in
Oh,
there.
it's beautiful.
Matthew, that rocked the Casbah. Thank you. That was
Incredibly
delish.
impressed. Matthew,
My pleasure.
thank you so much.
Absolutely.
And We'll see you next time I'm in town.
I look forward to it.
Now we're moving on to your turf.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Jacob, tell
In
us,
your
what do you
house.
do here at SpindleTap?
I'm one of the production brewers here at SpindleTap.
And how many production brewers are there?
So there's like 3 of us on rotating shifts.
Okay.
Usually in a given week, 2 of us will be brewing and another person is working in the cellar with our production manager.
Okay.
And cellar means those big steel tanks over there.
Okay, right
It's
on.
all the TLC that comes after brewing.
Okay.
Once it's fermenting,
Uh-huh.
once you're done brewing it, like brew day is over, everything after that is the cellar.
Gotcha. Okay, all right, cool.
Which is a very, very important part of making
Hugely
beer.
important.
But all 3 of you rotate through, so you all do everything, really.
Yeah.
But how a brewery works is important because this is the end result.
Right on.
Right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't even get to see the back of the house, which is one of the shows we're going to have to do one of these times.
Yeah.
Actually, thinking of it, it is kind of interesting for this beer in particular.
Okay, yeah, this looks like a serious beer.
Because
or not
this
serious
was
Oh, this is
one
serious.
brew day, what we call one turn, so we got one batch out of it. This is our pastry stout. We didn't give it a fancy name. It's just the coconut chocolate cherry pastry stout.
beer. I think that's a fancy enough name.
It's a long one.
Okay, so
It's
the coconut
It's just
chocolate
descriptive. It's like, this is what the
cherry
thing is.
pastry stout. It took 12 and a half hours of brewing time.
Well, of just boiling.
Boiling
So in
time.
your typical beer, after you mash the grains, you steep the grains with hot water to get all the sugars out of it, and you strain it off, and then you just have the liquid out of it, the wort.
Okay.
For most beers, you would boil that for about an hour, maybe a little
Maybe
bit more,
90
maybe
minutes.
a little less.
Yeah.
Add
Maybe
your hops
120
in.
if you're Dogfish Head.
Feeling crazy. Okay.
Add your hops in for bitterness and flavor, and then you would knock out. You would chill it down, and you would add the yeast.
Okay.
This we boiled after we did the mashing and everything else. We boiled for 12 and a half hours.
Okay.
Before you added hops.
Technically 11 and a half hours before we added hops.
Okay.
Hops got it added in the last
right.
60 minutes.
So to explain that, hops boiled over 90 minutes,
kind of useless.
kind of useless.
Yeah.
It doesn't add anything to it except a vegetative quality that's not pleasant in beer, unless it's super, super high gravity like Dogfish Head's 120 minute.
Okay.
Yeah. Goal of the 12 and a half hour boil
Okay.
is partly to reduce it a whole lot. So you go from having something that is slightly less strong to something that's quite a bit more strong, just because you've reduced the overall volume, but you've kept all the sugar in there, and that sugar becomes alcohol.
Is this Imperial or is it just...
It's about 14 and a half.
Whoa.
I'd say that's Imperial.
It's
Hello.
up there.
All right.
Man, there's a lot going on there.
Woo!
Man, there's a lot
Whoa,
going on
boom,
there.
boom. There's like little fireworks going off. There's a whole lot.
There's a whole lot going on. Now, when you say pastry stout, I automatically think, oh, it's going to be sweet. There's going to be a lot of lactose in there. Oh my God, it's going to be like...
We didn't throw any literal pastries in, which is kind of a thing you see now. I think it's a little gimmicky,
Yeah.
but like they'll throw like ding
Actual-
dongs in there, or
For
Right,
real?
your,
yeah, lemon cookies
in the
in the
mix.
mash,
In the
use
beer.
mash, yeah.
in with the grain.
Yeah.
It's a real thing that breweries do.
Okay. But there
This
were
was
no
not like
pastries
that.
harmed in the making of
Pastries
this
harmed.
stout. Okay, good to know.
It was all, ingredients intended for
So
brewing with.
toasted coconut, tart cherries. What would you use?
The coconut. It wasn't like the actual physical coconut. It was kind of a coconut cream.
Oh, coconut. Yeah, well, coconut cream. Yeah,
Okay.
This took a while to make.
a couple of shifts.
A team effort for this. It was
I
a big
love
thing.
that.
It was a big undertaking. We didn't know what to expect.
So who had to
but
clean
we're very
clean
happy
all
with
the
the result.
equipment after that 12-hour boil?
I did.
Aw, thank you. Cheers to you. That was not very fun.
But I didn't come in from like hour one. Like
Right.
I came in to the middle of the boil. I just had to babysit it
When
for
it
a
was
while
really sticky and
and then
messy.
help finish it. Yeah.
There's a whole lot going on here, and it's not overpowering any of it. Oh, first of all, there's a lot going on there. Everything that you say is in there comes out, but not
Yeah.
by punching you in the face like most pastry stouts do.
It's like, you're right, it's all in there, but it's
So-
not screaming at
yeah,
you. It's kind
it's
of
not-
subtle. It's kind of building on each other. And like I said, I just want to
There's layers.
spend some time.
And actually, like the cherry adds a little bit of this acidity.
No, there's a tartness. There's a
a slight
tartness. You
tartness
know
that,
that it's
like-
cherry
Yeah.
because I love
And
tart cherries.
that I think
Oh, me
actually helps
too,
kind
me
of
too.
the richness some.
Oh,
so it makes it more drinkable.
This is less pastry and more stout than I was expecting.
Yeah.
I mean, with
that's what I was
everything
thinking.
we brew here, we don't want it ever to lean towards sweet. Like even some of our higher gravity beers, some of our hazy IPAs, the triples, like we want it to have a drier finish for the style, and it's true for our stouts as well.
Well, that worked out really well. This is what I saved for this particular beer. I didn't want to put anything that might be in the beer in whatever we're going to have with it. So we're going to go with a regular glazed donut.
Glazed donut.
Everything is still there in the beer. This is not crushing any flavor in the beer.
How is this possible? Y'all, this is killing me.
That really works well.
It's amazing. So unexpected. Shut up. I'm loving this. I was very nervous. No need to be nervous. I'm telling you.
I'm pleasantly surprised.
I really, seriously, I keep saying it, but like, I just want to hang out with that.
It's stouts, because they can carry so much flavor, can be like really amazing platforms for experimentation. I mean, just given what we've seen here, like we have stuff that's a little more
straightforward,
Right.
and then we have stuff where they were playing around with different elements.
Right.
And
I love
it's
that the
a lot
metal
harder.
guy is straight. Is just
It's
straight.
pretty straightforward.
That's so
I mean,
funny.
relatively speaking,
I
right?
know.
Relatively speaking, thick imperial stout.
That's kind
Which
of what I
actually-
expected.
That kind of like segues into the next one, the aceite crudo, or
Say it
crude
again.
oil.
Aceite crudo.
So this is our Russian Imperial Stout, and this one is just straight up. It's not barrel aged. There's not adjuncts. We don't add chocolate. We don't add lactose. We don't do anything else. It is
Straight up.
straight up Imperial
Boom.
Stout.
Is it a Russian imperial?
It is a Russian Imperial Stout. This one we're particularly proud of. We've gotten some accolades for it this year.
Cool. Like, such as? Tell us.
So Craft Beer and Brewing Magazine, they did a stout tasting, and they rated it 99 out of 100.
Oh. What does that mean? What does that mean?
The
99?
next closest beer was 94 out of 100.
Wow.
And
Okay.
then a little while later, more recently, they did like a year-end roundup, and it was listed in one of their top 20 favorite beers of 2021. It's the only like non-barrel aged stout that made that top 20
Oh,
list.
really? Okay.
Yeah, barrel aged stouts kind of separate
That's a good
division as
sound.
far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
All
Right.
right.
on.
Now, notice most of the time we have a ice bucket for our beers, but with the stouts, they shouldn't be ice cold. We want to freeze some of the flavor out,
right.
and we don't want to freeze any of the flavor out.
Right.
We want to get that big, robust flavor of everything that's going on, whether it be good or bad.
Ooh. Nice.
I really
This-
like that.
Yeah, this is not sweet at all.
It's not sweet. It's strong. How strong is it?
It's fresh.
11%.
11%.
So that's up to the imperial status.
Definitely has hops, but it's not hoppy. It's
No.
kind of like accenting. It's adding structure.
Hops should be there in this sort of beer to balance things.
Okay.
To balance sweetness, to balance residual sugar, to balance the crystal malts to go in there. But this not only just has such a smooth balance, it aids in the drying at the end. And it's just
Oh,
like
right
just
on.
beautiful. This is really nicely done.
I think there's an interplay of the bitterness from the dark malt kind of blending with the bitterness of the hops.
Right, and you can't
It's
tell
like
which
they-
one's winning.
Yeah, you don't know where
Where it's
the
going.
malt ends and the
And the
hops
hops
begin,
begin.
or
Right
vice
on.
versa.
Right on.
And
Right.
because before I started working at SpindleTap, I didn't know they had this imperial stout.
Okay.
A
It
lot
was-
of people don't.
Yeah.
I've talked to people the other day. It's like, oh, dude, if you haven't been to SpindleTap, you really need to go try this, 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 and this. And they were like, what? Not 10 hazy IPAs?
Not 10 hazy IPAs. Just one of the best imperial stouts in the country.
Absolutely.
Ooh,
And
he says with confidence.
oh, I know, with a little
I
bit of,
love
with
it.
a little bit of,
I love
Uh,
it. Yeah, you're not the only one saying that. What was the magazine?
no,
Tell us again.
Craft Beer and Brewing Magazine.
this is quite good. I'm
But
very
what,
happy.
what like struck me about it the first time I tried it is it's a lot more like roast forward. You get the coffee notes out of it, but it's
Right.
all just from the dark grain,
From
the dark
dark
roasty
grain.
grain,
Right.
because there is no coffee in this beer.
Right. No.
It's like I said, this is an unadulterated imperial stout. It's
Yeah,
not
it's
barrel
just
aged.
straight
There's nothing
imperial
added.
stout.
It's just water, grain, hops, and yeast.
Nice.
Beautiful.
It is beautiful.
It's
It is.
Reinheitsgebot friendly.
Yes, it reminds me
It's
of my
what,
family.
What friendly?
Reinheitsgebot.
Reinheitsgebot. What does that mean?
It was a old German beer purity law, to
Right.
where you could only brew with water,
4 ingredients.
barley, hops, and yeast.
Okay.
But it was actually designed as an economic thing because they wanted to eliminate competition coming into the country.
Belgians did all kinds of weird stuff right next door.
Right
Okay.
next door, and they didn't want
Those
that
crazy
stuff coming
neighbors,
in
right?
unless they taxed it extra because of that.
Okay.
And same thing with the Schneider family because they were doing Hefeweizens.
Okay.
And Hefeweizen uses
And
wheat,
Dunkelweizens.
and Dunkelweizens and all kind of great Weizen beers, and using red
Weizens.
wheat beers.
Okay.
All right, but wheat was considered an adjunct. So
Right
they
on,
so
okay.
they went to war with the Schneider family with this Reinheitsgebot. Do they really follow the Reinheitsgebot anymore? Well, yes and no. The big breweries, they still try to stick to it, but they have a number of craft breweries there now, and they got to make what the rest of the world is making as far as craft beer is
Right.
concerned. So they probably aren't, but they're doing very well over there. So I don't see a real issue with it. The last time I was over there, I had several craft beers that were really quite good.
Okay.
Okay.
So tell us what we got going on here.
Notice the hop cutting board. These are my homemade, gluten-free, sugar-free, no sugar added cookies.
I'm trying to sound excited. I'm a little nervous with the no sugar and no gluten.
Try
I'm
it.
going. Okay. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
baby. Yeah, they are.
Oh, I didn't realize they had nuts in them too. Yeah, they do. These are good. Okay. These are delicious. And you
Yeah.
made these today?
Today,
Oh yeah.
walnut chocolate chip using
Oh my gosh.
monk fruit sweetener and dark chocolate chips that are made with monk fruit sweetener.
For real?
Yes.
These are really good. This
And
is
they
really
go
good.
perfectly.
They do.
If this.
I
That's
mean,
why I
they
say
really,
these
really
so well.
do.
This might be the best combo tonight.
Because yeah, again, they're both like real fresh, straightforward, delicious, not overwhelming. Like again, dangerous because I could just keep on going.
That is very nice.
Yeah,
And the good thing is,
this could be hanging out in the bathtub while eating the cookies and drinking it. I'm not swimming in the bathtub of the stout, but I'm hanging out and enjoying.
Like I drink this at the end of the night when I'm tired and want to relax.
Yeah.
I don't know. It puts me to bed.
Are you gonna say it's delicious?
it is quite good, and it goes so well with the cookies because neither one of them are super sweet.
No.
Because even though I make these with a sugar substitute, I still cut the sugar in half of what most people would use.
Really
in a
good.
cookie.
These are really good. If I was to cookie exchange, I would take these because they're good. And normally I'm like, I don't know about other people's chocolate chips and nuts, and I like my own. No, this is good stuff.
I do sell them.
All right, how can we find them?
You go by the cidery.
Ah,
Houston cider to buy 'em.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Man, we're talking about all kinds of Houston stuff. We're talking about Thistle, where you can get any of these beers at
Yes.
Thistle.
SpindleTap, and of course,
And the cookies. Where do you get the cookies?
Houston cider.
Houston cider. Okay.
And of course, the coffee stout, all right?
Black
Or stout coffee, black gold.
Yeah,
right
whichever
here,
way you wanna go right here.
only at SpindleTap.
For any brewery, not just us, of course, I'm going to plug us and I want you to come here and enjoy our stuff. But for any brewery you enjoy, go there. There's always taproom only stuff. There's always things that they don't make enough of to send to retail stores like liquor stores or grocery stores. There's always going to be something special that they have just for in-house
Right.
that you're missing out on if you don't visit them.
All right. So and when are you open for visitors?
We're open today.
Excellent.
All right.
We've had an excellent time with all of you out there tonight.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Jacob,
Thank you,
friend
Michael.
and co-worker and brewer extraordinaire.
Thank you, Amy.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Amy.
Thank you, Mufasa.
We've had a year of fun talking about
We have.
beers, but we're not done yet.
We're not done.
We've got lots of new things coming up in the new year.
Oh, don't tell them yet.
You got to tune
It's
in and
gonna be
find
good.
out. Of course, Amy and myself will be smiling at you once a month, talking about, or maybe twice a month, who knows?
Who knows? Who
Who
knows?
knows?
Who knows?
Talking to you about beer here in Houston and beer from around the country and sometimes from around the world.
Absolutely.
So do yourself a favor. This is the season of giving. So find somebody to give blankets to the homeless, give toys to the toy drives, bring an extra can of food to the food drives this year. There's a lot of people, we're coming off a pandemic, there's a lot of people that don't have, things that most of us have and take for granted.
Yeah.
So go out there, make sure that you're spreading the cheer like we try to do here. All right?
Thanks everyone for tuning in, for watching us, for enjoying beers with us.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry
Happy
Christmas.
holidays. All right, cheers.
Merry Christmas to all, and to all, a great stout.
Ah, love it. Love it. This is blowing me away. This episode might be my favorite.